Dream Juice, welcome back. Obviously, you're not seeing us on a Monday this time. That is because there's some breaking news that happened today, and we need to get it out as soon as possible. I know you guys saw that Avengers Doomsday, big announcement happened. They released their cast list. I know everyone was saying Marvel's going to drop some big news yesterday, and then it happened today. Well, I sat through the entire 5.5 hour live stream.
They're not stopping.
Neither are we.
Which it was all reported anyways, but I wanted to be on it in real time with the boys right here, Mason and Cade, and we thought we would go over this cast list and some other things for you. And so I have the cast list right here for Avengers Doomsday, and I'm going to list them off. I'll kind of have them grouped. I'm going to list them off. We'll all give our thoughts on it, and then after that, I also have a list of who was not mentioned or not cast so far, and I have those, and we can give our thoughts on that as well. So I know you guys were trying to stay up to date with it a little bit throughout the day. Any thoughts on how they decided to release it? Like their method of doing the stream and everything?
Kind of like what you said earlier, Josh, about it, starting it off, doing slow chair. It's kind of like, oh, man, just like announce it. But, I mean, kind of after what you said, it was kind of a smart way to do that because it did bring back a lot of hype for the Marvel. It just felt like that, like you said on your, I think you said in your story too, that in Infinity War excitement had that kind of level to it. It's fun to get that stuff back, bro. So it's like exciting. It gives us a real taste today about Marvel is back. So that's just kind of how it felt overall. I mean, I don't care too much on how they did it, but it was cool and fun to have just a reveal like that, and I thought that was different and cool. So
how long did it take overall? How long was the
5.5 hours. So it started at 10 a.m. Started at 10 a.m. our time, and it ended at 3:30.
It's one thing, and then thank goodness they released the video after. But I think overall, like unless you're gonna do something better for it, I wasn't a big fan of it. Just I think most people like, even if you're not working, even if it's like your day off, it's not like you're gonna sit there and be like, oh, it's not at that level right now to where the hype is up and all that. Not only that, but you also you're kind of spoiling some of the future of these next two films with like with Thunderbolts and with Fantastic Four. Obviously they make it, you know what I mean? And so then you don't spoil it, this and that, but like who is it, Ghost that wasn't in it?
No, she was, and we'll get into that. Ghost was, and we'll get into that because I definitely Thunderbolts especially. I kind of have the same issues you have with it.
Yeah. So I wasn't a big fan. I think they could have done it better. I think they could have done something like if you had like some slow graphics or like scenes of like the music as they come in instead of just a chair reveal. Like maybe there's like a chair reveal and then some like cool graphics of that character, then it kind of would have been more. But like a lot of the times, especially the older characters, I had to look up. I don't know like that. I don't know actors like that. So
I do want to point that out about the actors. I did have to look up, I think, quite a bit. I can't remember all of them, but once I looked it up, I realized who everyone is. But also, I think either way it was cool. But I think if they sped it up to where they constantly kind of had music playing, like I wish they sped it up to a time where it's like, oh, we got to tune in for this live instead of just checking back in. Like throughout the whole day, I was checking back in. I think it's just better. It'd be more cool, but like, oh, they're about to go live. Like, go watch it now, and it's like, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes long on a speed of what they did, and if they listed kind of like their hero names under it, it kind of like have more excitement to it because I'm just like, who that? But
I completely agree with that.
It'd also be cool if I thought the RDJ thing at the end was cool too, but it'd be cool if they could have made it happen with everyone sitting down in the chair. That could have been hype too. I mean, obviously that's hard to plan and get done. So, but just thoughts on it. So,
yeah, absolutely. I definitely think it went on a little too long. I do think it worked to Marvel's benefit because you literally had millions of people tuned in to watch empty chairs all day rather than for a 10-minute span. But I definitely think it should have been shortened. They got to where they would like start playing a character's theme or whatever every time you pan to the next one, and I would have rather had it be like a continuous thing, like somehow find a way to transition from one theme to the next rather than play the theme and as soon as they're introduced, cut it off and then be silent for 15 minutes until you do your next one. Like just have like a rolling like almost like you're a DJ mixing it up, and you have, hey, here's Anthony Mackie's
No
theme, and
doubt.
you transition seamlessly into Winter Soldier's theme, like
Exactly.
that, and just have a rolling one. Be like 15, 20, 30 minutes max.
Yeah.
And, but, like I said, I mean, Marvel knew what they were doing. Like, you had people continuously checking back in for breaking news for literally half the day long.
Yeah.
So it was pretty smart. But onto the cast, the actual news itself. The Avengers Doomsday cast, what is officially revealed from Marvel Studios as of today. I kind of have it grouped up. So first off, coming later this summer, we have the full Fantastic Four cast: Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Eben Moss-Backrack, and Joseph Quinn. They'll all be back. Obviously, nothing's going to happen to them in their movie, which I'm glad not. It's their first movie, first time doing Fantastic Four. Shouldn't. And they play a really important part for Doctor Doom. So there's them. We have the Thunderbolts, which was pretty interesting to me because I don't know if you guys kind of had the same theory, but a lot of people were thinking that not every Thunderbolt was going to make it through this movie. They were kind of putting this group of characters together where it wouldn't hurt too bad if not all of them made it.
Yeah, I certainly would have been mad.
But as they were going through the casting news, I just kept seeing one after another. And so we have Sebastian Stan, Bucky, Florence Pugh, Yelena, Wyatt Russell, Cade's favorite, John Walker, David Harbour, Red Guardian, Hannah John Kamen, who is Ghost, and then Lewis Pullman, who is going to be playing Sentry or Bob, as you've seen it in the trailers. And so it was pretty heavy Thunderbolts early on, with a couple Fantastic Four members sprinkled in, and then it really started to ramp up a little bit with some Fox X-Men characters. And we got a lot of original Fox X-Men characters, and then one X-Men who wasn't a Fox character. But we got Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen coming back as Professor X and Magneto, which I thought that was huge. We saw Patrick Stewart come back in Multiverse of Madness. Obviously, it was a little short-lived, but not Magneto. And seeing them share the screen together again for the first time in, I don't know, Days of Future Past, I guess.
Yep.
That's huge. Especially James Marsden also as Cyclops. That's really big. Kelsey Grammer coming back as Beast, the OG Beast. He was in the post-credit scene of the Marvel's Captain Marvel 2, which was a big deal at the time, but not widely reached because it was Captain Marvel 2, and so that was literally like the bottom point of kind of Marvel being at this low point. And so that didn't reach a whole lot of people, but seeing him come back is sweet. We have Alan Cumming. When I saw that name, I didn't know who that was. And I immediately looked him up, and that is Nightcrawler from X2, and I got as excited for that as I did any other one. Nightcrawler is insane. Rebecca Romijn, the original Mystique, has been cast in this one too, which I think is really cool. Also, she was a huge character in the original X-Men movies. And then outside of the Fox X-Men, we do have another X-Men that was cast, Channing Tatum, getting a well-deserved return as Gambit. I'm glad we get to see more of him.
You know how long?
Well deserved.
You know how long
ready to
I've
make
been
a
waiting
name
for
for
this?
himself, man. Then we have a shorter list, but we kind of have the Wakandan Black Panther group that was cast. We have Letitia Wright coming back as Shuri Black Panther, so it looks like they are continuing a story of her holding the mantle of Black Panther for right now. Winston Duke has been cast as M'Baku. I've always loved his character. I think he's a good addition, no matter how big of a role you give him.
Yeah.
And then Tanacho Huerta is coming back as Namor, the villain from Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and they announced him pretty early in the list, and that was the first real surprise for me, because all the other ones I kind of knew. It was kind of common sense. So it'll be really cool to see more of him. I thought he was dope, and he's one of those characters in a line of movies that didn't receive much love or care in a weird era of Marvel. He's one of the characters I was like, okay, he's really cool, great, a new addition.
He's underrated, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He's underrated. I liked him a lot.
So those three are pretty big characters from the area of Wakanda that are coming back. And then this other section, I kind of have our heroes that are around in America right now trying to do things. And so I have Anthony Mackie, Captain America, and Danny Ramirez as the new Falcon. Those two just finished their movie, and they're trying to round up a new group of Avengers. So obviously they're there. And then Simu Liu is finally coming back as Shang-Chi. Have not seen him in forever. He was
Finally.
the first new hero introduced after Endgame,
Yep.
and probably the best done new hero introduced, I
Yeah.
think, personally. So it's been and he hasn't been seen since. So I think that'll be good to get him. And then Paul Rudd, Ant-Man. I think that's you got to have him. He has the multiverse Kang knowledge, and so they're just all hanging out kind of in America, and so they may be our like ground level heroes that may be centered around at the beginning, trying to send an alert out, getting everyone together. And then I have two characters in our kind of like an other category or off world. The first one that was announced was Chris Hemsworth, Thor. That's a big one. Didn't really know what his role was going to be going into these movies. We kind of thought, he wouldn't be involved as much till maybe the very end. But having him cast first right off the bat was good news to me, and he needs to be redeemed after Love and Thunder. And then
Yep.
Couldn't.
arguably the most important one, Tom Hiddleston coming back as Loki. Tom Hiddleston was literally pulling an Andrew Garfield last week, saying he wasn't returning for these movies and didn't know if he was coming back as Loki. But I'm happy he is. He's literally the X factor, I think, in these two. And then lastly, Doctor Doom, Robert Downey Jr. ended the news off. He was the only one in person. I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, that was the whole cast. One thing I want to point out at the very end is I thought it was really cool how the very last two ones announced was Pedro Pascal, Reed Richards, and then RDJ, Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
That made me happy because it makes me think that they are doing Reed and Doom right by having them next to each other like that. It's just a small little hint thing, but I really like that touch. Any thoughts you guys had on kind of any of the characters that have been cast so far?
First of all, it was more heavy. We talked about this already, but heavy X-Men, big time. Heavy Thunderbolts, which creates a lot of hype for that movie. Like, it excites me because now I'm curious. Like, okay, like let me see what this is about. It has all the Fantastic Four characters, and now that for those two movies, it's crucial for that story to really match up for the Russo brothers to do that. So that's big time. It really like I'm still very like hesitant on the whole thing. It didn't create enough hype for me today with all those characters. Obviously, you're missing some of our favorites. I'm excited for one off the bat. First thought, first chair, Chris Hemsworth, and the only person that's done Thor right is the Russo brothers. So thank goodness, because everyone that's had Thor in the past has one of the best characters ever, and they sucked at it. I'll never forgive them for what they did from Thor 1, Thor 2, well, Thor 3, I mean, Ragnarok was good, but other than that, like, no one's done Thor right, and so being able to go on with that is big time. They said, well, more on Doomsday stuff later, but just like the death of Tony, that makes me a little bit more at ease with Tony's death is a part of why Doomsday, like his origin, I guess, Doomsday's origin. So I'm excited to see what that's about. But overall with these characters, I'm kind of like, what is the shared interest here of like, why is everyone coming together, forming together? Maybe they're not formed together, but why do the Thunderbolts care? Why I understand why Fantastic Four does. I understand why X-Men do, but why does Namor care about this? You know what I mean? Like, it's the central theme here that brings them all together, and hopefully they can tell that story in the short amount of time that they have.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of like what Mason said, it does brings up a lot of curiosity especially for Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts. I'm more excited to see that now, especially since that's a lot of what we're going to get for this. There wasn't really a name. I think Loki was probably the one name I was probably hyped about to see, just because mainly the Thor and Loki, getting to see each other again. That's probably the only thing I kind of freaked out about. They started with Chris Hemsworth, so we didn't really get a chance to even understand what was going on to when we saw his name. So, but overall, it's just kind of more just a full-on curiosity of what's going to happen. I'm interested to see Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. I think Doomsday. I'm getting that Infinity War vibe where they're all going to be separated. You know how the Avengers all split up; they're separated. It's going to be something like that. Somehow they're going to meet, if they meet. just type movie. So I just think everyone's gonna be scattered.
You
I
know
mean,
what? You know what it's gonna be, man. It's gonna be Robert Downey Jr. is the main character, and he goes and faces different villains, which are our heroes. Whether it's the Thunderbolts, it's Fantastic Four, whatever it is, he's facing these different guys at different time, and that's gonna be the whole movie. Is he's getting?
Yeah,
They also
absolutely.
they also talked about how the good guy or seeing the bad guy's perspective of being good is what they do best, and so now you're gonna for this first movie, you're gonna see that, and you're gonna it's gonna be cool to see. Another to add on to that, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Channing Tatum and James Marsden were my two favorite, especially coming off of watching Paradise. I was
Oh, yeah.
I
He was great.
yeah, great. He's been great in anything. You know what I watched the other day is 27 Dresses, and he's good in that too. So like just
Good old James Marsden, man.
yeah, man, charming.
It'll be happy just to
Yeah.
have, not only have him, but just have, like, Cyclops back.
Yeah.
It's like, that's definitely exciting, for sure.
He plays the prince in Enchanted, right? Is that the same guy?
Yes, I want to say yes. I'm 95% sure.
Well, it's him and then Chris Pine. Is it Chris Pine that sometimes look alike?
Yes,
Yeah. So, but
it's one of those guys.
but all that.
All right,
I'm excited for those two. Channing Tatum, I was pumped for. But story wise, we'll see what happens. Man. It could be doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think
doing-
to your point, it 100% has to be Doom's main story, and I think that really is what made Infinity War work well, is that it was Thanos' main story. But a big thing about this whole saga is that there are no Avengers. There's no team up to begin with. And so I think they really need to take advantage of that and make a point in Doom succeeding with that everyone's all scattered and there was no Avengers. They never recollected after Endgame. And not only has that been a downfall of just Marvel not being able to make an Avengers movie since then, but that's a problem that the heroes in that universe are facing right now, is that they never really got together. And so I think Doom needs to take advantage of that. Couple hours shortly after they announced the cast, multiple reports stated that they are nowhere near done, with other reveals happening sometime soon, which makes, when they say that, it makes me a little bit more hopeful that they'll do another reveal like that or some sort, and we'd get that rather than waiting and hopefully seeing some new faces when the movie comes out. But we knew right off the bat there are people that we know are going to be in the movie that weren't cast. But then when they say it, Robert Downey Jr. even commented on it, that there's more. So I've come up with a list of notable names and pretty much everybody that was not announced that could appear in this movie. And so right off the bat, big one, Spider-Man. Tom Holland specifically, like having RDJ's face as Doom and everything. I thought he was going to be like a main character in this. So Spider-Man 100%, and including that Tobey and Andrew also. We're getting Fox X-Men having Spider-Man variants. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Tobey or Andrew till Secret Wars or like end of Doomsday, but Tom Holland specifically. Another one, Doctor Strange. That's huge as far as the multiverse goes. Some OG Avengers. Hulk. Didn't see Mark Ruffalo at all, and tagging on to that, She-Hulk as well. We didn't get any of the Hulks, which surprised me. We did not get a Jeremy Renner Hawkeye cast. That's another OG. And then finishing off the OGs, they were going really big, but I think they're going to save Chris Evans, maybe not even reveal that ever. And along with that, I'll add Scarlett Johansson to that too. Scarlett Johansson less likely than Chris, but it's hard to have movies like that you're literally bringing everybody back. It's hard to see them not coming back for that, being left out of that when you have RDJ and everyone coming. So those are kind of like the OGs with Doctor Strange and Spider-Man included, and then none of the Guardians were mentioned. I thought at least Chris Pratt would have had his name on there.
Yeah. Especially with all the
and
leaks.
Yeah, it was
All the
definitely absolutely. So
people in the
Chris
leaks
Pratt
weren't
was definitely one that I was expecting the whole time and didn't see. Another Marvel OG, we didn't see Don Cheadle, Rhodey, anywhere. You know he'll make an appearance. His name wasn't on there. Another two, Wanda and Vision. Wanda is presumed dead, and Elizabeth Olsen came out a couple days ago saying she will not be in either of those movies, which that may be pulling an Andrew Garfield. I don't believe in the slightest she won't be in it.
Yeah.
But those are two, Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany, Wanda and Vision. Then we've got Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, Nick Fury. None of those were anywhere. That really surprised me, especially with Kelsey Grammer as Beast coming back in the Marvel's post-credit scene. He was with Monica. Monica obviously moved over to that universe. If y'all didn't know or watched the movie, so not seeing her or Captain Marvel doesn't make sense. Especially Nick Fury. You'd think Sam Jackson would make an appearance. And then here's one that's interesting is Taskmaster. So Marvel has gone. It's been blatant. Marvel has gone out of their way to just take Taskmaster out of any marketing or trailers or anything for Thunderbolts, which is really weird. And everyone's like, okay, of course she's gonna die in Thunderbolts. And then you do your cast reveal for Doomsday, and we didn't know who was gonna survive Thunderbolts, but you listed every member of the Thunderbolts but Taskmaster, and she's already out of the marketing. So it's like, don't know what's gonna happen there. So Taskmaster not included. Then the stars of Marvel last year, Deadpool and Wolverine, weren't mentioned. Ryan Reynolds, I can see them not revealing yet, but Hugh Jackman, especially after the whole almost a huge OG X-Men lineup, it'd be hard for me to see them leaving Hugh Jackman out with them bringing back like every OG like that. So along with Hugh, we have Halle Berry's Storm and any of the other OG X-Men, plus kind of the newer school ones with James McAvoy, Fassbender, those X-Men also, but especially Halle Berry, Storm, and then Jean Grey and those ones. So didn't cast those X-Men. The Young Avengers, Miss Marvel, Kate Bishop, Cassie Lang, America Chavez, all of those I could do without seeing. Yes, I could do without seeing some of those, but they weren't mentioned, and Marvel being Marvel, they'll throw a couple of those in there.
Did they say whenever there's no news on when the rests are being announced or anything? Is there?
No, mm-mm.
Do you
We
think,
just know it's not. We just know there's more, but
Yeah,
there's
we probably don't even know if they're going to announce them.
no.
Yeah. It makes me wonder if it's just big names only.
Yeah,
So,
I am a little confused. Kind of going back to Doctor Strange for a bit, Wong wasn't announced. Wong has been probably the character who's popped up as much as anybody since Endgame. Just little cameos here and there. Been kind of the one tying everything together. Why Doctor Strange has been off on its own. He's been kind of the one. But that was kind of. I see them not announcing him, but that's a name that surprised me a little bit. I don't know what Marvel's future plans for them, or if they don't have any plans at all. None of the Eternals were cast. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we don't see them ever again. But that's a huge team that they introduced all at once. None of them were cast. No Mahershala Ali Blade, which keeps getting delayed over and over again, and with that, Wesley Snipes Blade variant. We saw him in Deadpool and Wolverine. None of that. No Kang. I mean, obviously, it kind of speaks for itself. I don't know. It'd be a big risk to cast Jonathan Majors right now after everything happening, regardless of innocent, guilty, drop charges, all that stuff. No Kang mention, throwing in there no Thanos mention either, even though he's long gone. People have speculated variant Thanos, Josh Brolin coming back. And then kind of on the Disney Plus series side of things, no Charlie Cox Daredevil, no John Bernthal Punisher, and no Oscar Isaac Moon Knight. Also, I know you're hoping for that Moon Knight share, Mace.
And I'm praying.
And then, so that's kind of it for the MCU. And then a little bonus, no Sony Spider-Verse characters. No Tom Hardy Venom, no Madam Web, Morbius, which would be crazy to announce. And then no Miles Morales, obviously that's a big one. And then of course, no other variants of any kind. No Tom Cruise Iron Man, any of that stuff. Which I thought would have been really cool to see an actor's chair who we didn't know what character they were playing. But those are definitely kind of the big surprises that I think they would leave for the movie. So that's kind of the group of everybody that has not been cast yet. So anything stick out to you guys thoughts on that list?
All of them. I mean, you could go on and on about each of the branches of those. I think Eternals is crazy that they didn't like they might just stop that completely. Cause
Yeah, they didn't follow up on it whatsoever.
Yeah. I think obviously you want to see all these other characters that they at least use them in some way that was in between in game and this point. Like Moon Knight would be a great addition, right?
Dude, that would be so sick, bro.
Dude, it'd be sick. Moon Knight
So
Vision
tough.
team up would be fire, bro. White Vision, I don't know if you said
Maybe
that or
just
not,
Moon Knight.
but him and Peter Quill, and I think it's just like you have endless. I think it kind of makes it good though, because it's like you have these. Anything could happen, and anyone could show up in any end scene. These upcoming 2 movies, everyone's gonna go see them because they want answers too. So you're gonna have that, and especially Fantastic Four, where you're gonna hopefully see some RDJ and get some his Doom, at least a little taste of it. So I don't know. I think it's some good, but then it's just once you name all the characters, you realize how chaotic it is once you open.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Multiverse.
I think depending if they're hiding, like if people are, Andrew Garfielding the whole situation, or they're really not casted either way, it still brings the curiosity of where are they?
Yeah, and I think the
Where are
crazy
they now?
thing is this is all for Doomsday,
Incredibles.
and so like if they don't end up showing up in Doomsday, it's bound to happen in Secret Wars. Like this wasn't. Basically all these characters, if Doom doesn't kill them, they'll be back for both movies. But this was specifically a Doomsday casting, which is interesting.
Can we realize that I just said a Marvel quote and Mason said Incredibles to it?
It's not in Incredibles as well.
It's after Avengers 1 when they're like, where are they now? And it goes to the ending scene with them, taking Loki to Asgard. And
Oh, you're talking about the meeting with the directors of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
no, it's the news. Whenever they're talking about the Avengers, the first one on the news.
Yeah, where it's just the diner with the girl and all that.
Guys, let us know if Mason should be docked an off-episode Marvel point. We're not even in
I don't
episode.
know. Or
and
said
he might be docked a point
Incredibles
for that.
to a Marvel quote.
I'm pretty sure
Dude.
they did Incredibles too. And it's about
I don't even think I don't think I'd willingly throw out a Incredibles quote on a Marvel podcast.
Man, this ain't a Marvel podcast.
That's crazy.
Willingly.
That was huge news, obviously, and there's more to come. It definitely kind of solidified in my mind, like, the buzz, the anticipation, the hype around Marvel. Like, it's back. Like, I've been saying, like, I kind of felt like I did pre-Infinity War all day.
Back, baby.
Regardless
back.
of what has been happening, it got me excited. And so,
Go ahead, John.
definitely, we had to get that out there and share our thoughts about the big Doomsday casting. Let us know what you guys thought, and we will see you next Monday for episode 4 of Dream Juice Chronicles.
Just as long as we're all in agreement.
I'm feeling like the villain, now I'm back, I'm killing still. Just like the Joker, boy, I kill around just for the thrill. I got 2 guns up on my hip, I shoot 'em like I'm Quill. I'm with a soldier in the cut, so I don't need a